Welcome back to Riches and Rags podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Rags. And
I'm Val Delao, Mr. Whatever.
Mr. Val Delao, my uncle. And
that's right, I'm your uncle, whether you like it or not.
I can promise you I like it.
Oh, good.
I've learned a lot from you.
Oh, well.
We got a super fun episode today. I'm really excited.
Let me take these glasses off.
Sure.
They're going to think I'm either cool, I'm a movie star, or I am a drug addict.
Okay. Well, you're definitely cool, and you're definitely a drug addict.
I don't know about the cool, but... You know, I was just thinking a moment ago that here I am wearing a vest because it's a little nippy, a little cold outside, and you're wearing a T-shirt. What an opposite. And you're young and good-looking, and I'm old and semi-good-looking.
Yeah, I mean...
I used to be good-looking when I was young. Well, not really good-looking like you, but I had... I used to attract attention, but I think maybe because I was semi-famous. You know the problem with my life? Everything is just semi. I had to drive a semi-truck or something. I never was completely famous, so I'm semi-famous. I never was real good-looking, so I'm semi-good-looking. I am semi-intelligent. I'm semi... So I took a semi-shower this morning, so if you smell a little thing...
No, I don't.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Do you think it's better that you got like half good at a bunch of things instead of
everything has a price.
Perfectly good at one thing?
Everything has a price. If you get real famous, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't know. I've never been that famous, so it doesn't matter to me. But I mean, people like Elvis Presley or stuff, they cannot go to the movies. They cannot go anywhere. They attract so much attention. You know, the President of the United States does that all the time. The Pope. The most famous person in the whole wide world is the Pope. And he's the one that attracts more people than anybody else. Do you know that I have a friend of mine that lived in, I think it was Brazil. Either Brazil or one in Buenos Aires. But either one, he told me that, he said 3 people have paralyzed our city as personalities. And I said, who are they? He said, well, who was the first one? He said, Frank Sinatra. When he came in, that was it. I don't know why Frank Sinatra would do that, but he did it. And the other one was a Pope. And the other one was, he gave me another one, but I forgot. But anyway, 3 people paralyzed the city. When nobody was talking except of that particular person, that was the subject of the day or 3 days or whatever. And the traffic was horrible. Everybody wanted to see that person, etc. So,
did you ever see Frank Sinatra live? Did you ever
Yes, I did.
Did you ever go to Brazil?
I saw him
live?
In concert 6 times, but I
Holy cow.
never shook his hand.
Ah.
But it didn't matter. I did see him 6 times.
How about South America? Have you been to South America?
Never. I understand that one of our relatives in South America, or 2 of them.
I think Central America, right? Maybe it's
South.
No,
Colombia
is
is
Colombia
in South
America?
America.
Oh, okay. I'm
It's
terrible
not
at
in Central
geography.
America. Central America is it's Panama. It's Guatemala. I've been there 3 times, and let's see who else. There's Costa Rica. There's Costa Rica. There's Nicaragua. There's Honduras.
Can we bring up a little map too? This is a nice little geography education.
Of Central America.
There's a game. Maybe Cameron might know the name. It's like a game people play on the internet where it'll drop you in a random place on Google Earth, and you'll just have to look around at the landscape and the pictures and guess what city or country you're in. Yeah, where is Colombia?
Way down here.
Way down there?
Yeah.
By the border, right?
See Colombia? See where the thing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a big country.
That's Colombia there.
And he's in Medellin. We got some listeners in Medellin right now. Beautiful
That's
city
right.
from what I've heard.
Being the internet, we're being listened to all over.
It's neat. Yeah, it's not a very large audience yet, but the analytics have shown we have a handful of listeners in China, a couple in Russia, some in Colombia.
Well, it would help if we could talk Spanish, because people in Colombia speak Spanish, Mexico also. But that's nice. It's a nice compliment that somebody's listening to us. Maybe they're cursing us, but what the heck?
I'm trying to encourage any comments or any engagement here. We'll see what
Have
happens.
you got any comments yet?
No, not too many yet. But that's good because no. Well, actually, on some of the episodes, I mean, on ours, maybe one or two, but some other guests' episodes have had some comments. Mm-hmm.
Were they positive?
They're just like, yeah, positive. Like, oh, I know this person. They do a very good job with the photography for me, kind of thing. But yeah.
Well, okay.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Explore the world is at the Geoguesser. Let's play a round or two. Just since we brought it up, do you think we'd be able to do that?
Well, ask me anything you want to.
Let's see.
And then when we run out of things to talk, I have a journal. You know, I keep a journal.
You do keep a journal.
So I brought it with me, and
record.
Well, I was trying to find a book, and I couldn't find an appropriate book that I liked. So I bought one for records, and so I write things. So now and then certain things, but I'll talk whenever you want me to talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead and read an excerpt from it.
Oh, let me.
Is it going to be a random one, or do you have it bookmarked?
Oh, I have a bunch of them. No, I'll just pick one at random. Let's see what else.
I said I was going to read one of mine, but then I opened it and I was like, nah, I'm going to keep it.
Well,
keep it in the
They're
background.
not that. You know, there are things that occur to me, and there are also things that I have copied from other people. For example, this is a kind of cute one. It says, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That is why we call it the present.
I remember my dad telling me that rhyme.
Let's see. Here's one. Show business is 10% talent and 90% bullshit.
Really? Fake it till you make it?
Fake it till you make it. Most people just keep faking it, and they don't make. Well, they make it monetarily, but
the Geoguesser, nice. Yeah, because you just jumped right in when you started. You were just like, I'm gonna have to start one way or another.
That's true. You have to start, and you throw it out there, and people may or may not like you. Here's one that I wrote in Spanish.
Okay.
Que la mula no sea tan vieja y que la vieja no sea tan mula. I heard that just the other day.
Can you repeat that?
Que la mula no sea tan vieja. In other words, that your mule won't be so old, and that your vieja, which is your wife, no sea tan mula. See, in Spanish, the Spanish culture, when you say "tú eres muy mula," it means that you're too stubborn, you're too dumb, and that's what they call a mula. And then so it doesn't make sense in English, but it does in Spanish.
Okay.
And that's it. I write Spanish and English and all kinds of stuff. One more?
One more.
Let me see. A real short one. I got a bunch of here.
It's a nice book. I like that.
Yeah, it is.
It kind of just says record.
If you live
record
on what you did yesterday, you haven't done anything today.
Yeah. That's good.
One more.
Yeah, you've got a lot of them. I don't know how you read that handwriting. Here, can you turn it around and show it to the camera? I don't. it's almost illegible.
No, it isn't. Not to me. Let me see here. Let's see. One more.
Okay.
This is kind of a song that I heard. It says, make just someone happy and you will be happy too.
We do find a lot of joy as humans helping out other people. I think that's a common thing.
I have lots of short little ones. Let me see here.
Yeah, we had some viewers in Arizona, you said, that were asking, what happened to Val? Are we not going to see him on the podcast
They
anymore?
thought I had died.
I have an idea. I told you about the idea for a funny promo video about we could do for the podcast.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll make a funny joke out of that.
Now that I'm trying to look for some.
But yeah,
things are not done for responsibility or obligation, but for love.
And you do most of your doings out of love?
I do most things that I love because if you don't have any love in it, it's like you have a job. If you don't like your job, quit.
I know. I'm right in this position where I'm trying to transition. I do not like it at the moment.
Because if you like your job, it's almost like not a job. It's you enjoy it enjoy it all the time. That's why musicians always want to play music and get paid for it. But they say many times, if I didn't get paid for it, I would still do it. And most of them do.
Oh yeah. Most
So
don't get
that's
paid for
because
it.
that's a job, but they enjoy the job. But when you are doing something that you don't like, it's misery. It can actually affect your health.
I believe that. I genuinely feel sometimes that pieces of my will are just leaving. Like pieces of my soul are just leaving. Like it's just to just be in a place you don't want to be.
Here's a bit of wisdom. Character is what you do when nobody is watching.
What do you do when nobody's watching?
I can't say it.
You can't say, but it's
No,
funny.
I do the same things. I don't do anything. Sometimes I have been tempted to steal something, but I don't steal. So, but I have caught myself thinking about stealing something. Not often, but once in a great while, only because it was convenient at the moment to steal it. Sometimes there's no cashier at the store, and I say, well, I like this pen. I think I'll just take it with me.
So yeah, that's a fine line. I actually had a event this week. I was delivering some packages, and I thought to myself, I want to start growing pot pretty soon, right? And I'm like, well, I'm going to need fertilizer and actual clay pots for it. I mean, we just got legalized. Why not? It's totally allowed. And I was like, well, I don't want to go to the store and buy any. But if something comes around, I'll start. So I'm on my delivery route. This is like the next day. And the first house I pull up to, there's a bunch of really nice clay pots in the front of the person's yard. And then on the piece of white paper, it had wrote like, free, please take. So I took like 3 of them. And I consider this almost kind of a manifestation of like what you wanted. And then reality kind of was like, okay, here you go. So now I've got 3 clay pots in my garage and might start trying to grow some plants here pretty soon.
But somebody left a note to please take?
Oh, absolutely. Some of them were broken and cracked, but I didn't take all of them. No, I didn't steal them. But this is what I'm saying is if you have gratitude and you don't expect it to come, you're just ready for if it presents itself, the universe will give you an opportunity to find it. Right.
If you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans.
They're never going to be as good, right?
What?
Your plans as a human will never be as good as a perfect plan. How well do you know your geography, Uncle Val?
Not as well as I should. But
let's play a little game. I think it's fun.
Let's do it.
Cameron made us a quick little account very quickly. So it's called Geo Guesser, and what it does.
Ooh, friends.
So, yeah, exactly. You can see it puts a real picture in a real place, and you guess where it is, and then you see if you're right or not. So how do we randomize it?
The Eiffel Tower. Have you been there?
I've never been to France. Have you?
Can you hear me?
No.
Yes, I can hear you now.
This is just like a tutorial showing you.
Oh, it's a tutorial?
So it's like it wants us to right here on the right side.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to click there.
Sure.
And guess.
Guess.
We're 4 kilometers away from.
Okay. All right. Where
for real
is
this time?
This one's for real. Oh, this looks like New York. This is Ellis Island. Oh, it's the tutorial. It's right there. And the bottom. Right off the bat.
Statue of Liberty.
So we're still in the tutorial, right?
I've seen the Statue of Liberty many times.
Really?
I used to go to New York all the time because my show was seen in New York.
There's 2 islands, right? There's Ellis Island and Liberty Island, right?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Where is this?
I don't know. Liberty Island?
It's off the coast.
To me, that's Ellis Island.
Over here?
I don't even know there's such
so.
a thing as a Liberty Island.
Down there to the one of
what does it say?
One of them islands down there. Oh, I was way wrong.
It's up there.
Okay, how did we get the Statue of Liberty?
It just randomly threw us there. Now it's throwing us somewhere else. We have no idea. Oh, it's giving us a hint down in the bottom of the world. It's Australia, it looks like.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would be so bad at this game.
Would that be Australia?
Yeah.
I think it says Australia down there.
So you know that building?
Oh, the Finns. That's Sydney.
Sydney?
Yeah, that's the port down at Sydney. So Sydney's Yeah, there's going
My
to be like
daughter
a
lived in
crevice
Australia
port.
for a while.
Your daughter lived there?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to visit Australia. That would be pretty cool.
You're going to go right now. They have a
At
lot
the
of
bottom,
forest
I
fires.
think.
Right here?
Yeah. Yay. Did I get it right? No. No, I got it wrong. Yeah, it's a fun game.
Give us another one.
One more, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Tutorial.
So this
Oh, that
one-
was just the tutorial. That was just training us. Okay.
So let's do the original experience. World. Should we do world or famous places? World will just take us to a random ass place, but we could do like famous.
What do you think, Uncle Val? Do you want to do famous places or the world? Like anywhere random in the world, or do maybe like famous
Yeah,
sites?
probably won't get any right, but I'll do it.
The U.S., the EU, UK, Spain.
Let's drive just famous
I know
places.
that one. Okay, the United States.
Or he says United States.
Just the United States?
Yeah.
Alright, let's try it.
Start game, single player. Holy cow. Okay, so the
Where?
plants look slightly
That's the
tropical.
South Valley.
That's the South. No, that looks like Florida to me.
I want to say Florida too.
I really think it looks tropical. It looks humid. It looks
No,
muggy.
it's
What do you think, Uncle Val?
Uh,
It does kind of look like the tropical South Valley.
no, it looks like maybe
Jacksonville?
it's Florida for me.
Yeah, okay.
We got Main Street.
Yeah. Maybe. Let's take a guess. What city in Florida?
No, I don't know. But I
Lend
would
us-
say it's Florida. I don't know.
Where's Jacksonville? Yeah, up towards that green. Yeah, there we go.
Where at?
The left towards the green there. Yeah,
Down
right
here?
by the highway. Yep.
Right
Let's
there?
see. Let's take a guess. Oh, it was Florida, but it was just the wrong city. We're close.
Well, it's kind of hard to say the specific city because
I know
states
where
are
this
so
is.
big. In Europe, it's easier in because European countries are so small. And really, a European country like Spain, Portugal, all those are really like states in the United States.
Some of those cities in Europe though they're windy, they're twisty. There's not a lot of clear, straight streets. The very first night I showed up in Europe was Spain to meet my brother a couple of years ago, and when we met up, he was already there, and I was like, let's go out, let's go bar hopping. He was like, all right. So we went with the hostel group, and our phones both died. We both split off from the group, and so we didn't have map on our phone. Spanish was our second language, and we got lost. We got lost all night, walking in circles trying to find our hostel, and no one wanted to help us because we were drunk, asking to see their phones. Can you help us? We need to see a map on your phone. They'd be like, nah. Thankfully, one guy, we persuaded him, and he showed us where on the map we were, and we were all over it. We were just a couple blocks away, but yeah, it's easy to get lost.
And you were drunk?
Yeah, we definitely went out bar hopping and drinking a lot, and that was part of the thing.
I see.
Yeah. And again with the manifesting thing, like I told you, like the clay pots just kind of showed up. We were out just on the town, and there was this Polish dude, and he just happened to be rolling and smoking some marijuana right there. And I was like, "Oh, people do that here?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we just did it right there. It's just showed up, and Ryan's like,
You said that we have one
finds me.
person in Russia that listens to us?
the analytics on our website show that one person from Russia has visited our
Is that
website.
Putin?
I hope so.
In South America, they call him Putin.
It's like puto, but like putito, but
That's
like
right,
Putin.
Putin.
There's a little.
Not even a big puto, just a Putin. A small little puto.
That's hilarious. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a. Have you ever seen the Putin butt plug?
The Putin what?
The Putin butt plug is something to put in your ass.
No.
There's images of it on Google. It's hilarious. It's
Wow.
just the play on words. Yeah, I know it's extremely uncomfortable. Yeah. It won't show it on the images.
I don't know if I want to click this.
Don't click it. It's just Putin in the shape of a butt plug. But that also could be a flag on YouTube, so you never know. But the joke goes something to poot in your
Well,
ass.
it's not being broadcasted right now, so I can check before I show it.
You're looking at me like, what the hell?
But you guys are gonna see it.
We're in for a wild episode today.
Wow. Okay, let's.
Oh, there it is. It's so bad. And hey, if we get flagged,
I just don't like that man.
You don't like that man or that butt plug?
Anything that relates to him, I don't like.
Okay.
I think he's evil.
Okay.
I think he's cruel. He has definitely no belief in God. Not that you have to believe in God to be good, but it helps. And he, I think he's evil. He's cruel. I think he's one of these people that's so egocentric. I mean, the ego in him took over. And the ego is one that's guiding his life. He has all the wealth, all the money, all the material things a person would have, all the women, everything that people aspire for. And the only thing he wants to conquer the world, piece by piece by piece. And in doing so, he kills a lot of people. He makes a lot of people miserable.
We got it.
Got it. There you go. Who says I'm perfect?
I hate stuttering. Does that happen more in the years that go on? Do you stutter your words or get caught up on a word?
It's funny because sometimes I can speak fairly well.
Right. Yeah,
me
too.
I speak Spanish and I speak English and I speak a little bit of Portuguese. I used to speak Portuguese very well, but I don't do it anymore because I forgot it. But I falo português muito bem, mas estou aprendendo a falar. So,
que massa, cara.
Yeah, but once in a while, for some reason, in a particular day of the week, I'm stuttering. I'm not pronouncing my words well, and I think that maybe it's because something's happening with your brain. We all, even you, we have once in a while we have what we call mini strokes.
Mini strokes.
Mini strokes, not a big stroke that will kill you or paralyze you, but we have mini strokes. And when sometimes that happens, one day I was at Walmart or somewhere, and I think I got a mini stroke.
Oh, shit.
I didn't know where the hell I was.
Oh, no.
I was looking around, I said, I think this is Walmart, and I couldn't find the exit.
This happened the other day?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And also, one day I was driving here in my city, and I was coming down, I think it was either San Mateo or somewhere, and I got lost. Can you imagine getting lost here?
Oh, absolutely.
I lived all my life.
All the time.
And I got lost, and I said, where am I? And I kept driving and driving. I didn't know where I was going south, north, or south.
What time of day?
It was at night.
Okay.
And I didn't know where I was going north or south or east or west, whatever. And so,
did you use a GPS?
Well, I don't know how to use this stuff too well. And anyway, I was driving. I was trying to see if I could recognize the building or something, and then I realized, I said, I'm getting a mini stroke, and I just kind of took it easy for a while, and it kind of went away.
Did you pull over?
What I did, I pulled over and took an aspirin because I had some aspirins in my car, and within about 20 minutes, my head starts to get clear, and I could think about it again.
Sometimes I have dreams that remind me of that disorientation. I had one yesterday morning, crazy lucid dream where it was just like I couldn't remember where I was. It was like an end-of-the-world apocalypse dream. Like UFOs started popping out and meteors started coming down.
My wife used to get angry with me all the time because I used to tell her that once in a while I forget things. And I would tell her that I went to a nightclub one night and there were a lot of pretty girls there, and I forgot I was married. I couldn't.
Oh, how convenient. How convenient.
Well, it might be convenient, but what if I did forget that I was married?
Lucky you. If you got lucky that night, I guess, right?
Wasn't lucky when I got home. How, if I forgot that I was married, how did I remember going to the house?
Yeah, it's a fair point. That's a fair point. Did your wife ever throw anything at you? Did you ever have a frying pan or
No, what she
radio?
did, we had a fight one time, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it because people are going to hate me, but I slapped her.
Oh.
And I regret that for the rest of my life. I carry that in my heart. But we were young. Not as older people, but we were in our late 20s. And something happened. I don't remember what it was, but I slapped her.
Would you say this was more common back in that day too?
No,
men
it's just
doing that to women more.
Anyway, we were. And there was a pencil on the table, and what she did, she got this pencil, and she stabbed me on the arm like this.
Oh,
Boom!
so she physically
physically stabbed me with the pencil. And lead is very poisonous.
And it's painful. She gets stabbed in the arm by a pen.
Well, it was a pencil.
Pencil, yeah.
And it was real sharp.
Yeah.
And she stabbed it with a pencil. And we made it a joke years later because when I would tell the story, I would embellish the story. I would tell them that she stabbed me with a pencil, and I would say that my arm got infected and the blood was running all over the place. And they finally had to call the ambulance.
Oh, my
and they
God.
took me to the hospital, and I stayed there for about a week. There it was touch and go because the doctors wanted to amputate my arm, all kinds of things.
But that never happened.
No, it never happened.
Who are you telling that?
And I didn't slap her anymore, ever.
Can I? And you can decline the answer, but was it open hand or backhand?
No, it was an open hand.
It was an open hand.
No.
Was it like a
Backhand is worse.
Backhand's bad. Yeah.
My
backhand's
dad's backhanded me one time.
Your dad backhanded you?
Yeah, I was about 16 years old. And in fact, I was shaving. Can you imagine? And my dad backhanded me right in my mouth.
Dang.
And busted my lip, and I started to bleed a little bit. And for a moment, I got the instinct of defending myself.
Well, that was my next question. Was the slap from the pen stab, was it kind of like stab, ow? Was it like a reactive, kind of like, ow, why did you do that?
No. She just got to, she went,
Oof.
And she stabbed me in my arm.
Hey,
And to this day, I wear my arm in a sling. No.
It's just crazy.
But it was my fault. I was being, I shouldn't have done what I did. And, I just wrote that in my journal. I was just reading it a while ago. It says, you have to be careful with life, and you have to be careful with your actions because many of us do, all of us do certain things, and when we lose a member of our family, particularly your spouse, I lost my wife 5 years ago. She died. And I think about her every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week, every year, day or night. Because at night I dream about her. And I regret a lot of things. I regret I was impatient many times, and I was taping my TV shows, and sometimes she would help me a lot, but I would get so hyper in doing the shows because we had a lot of deadlines to fill, and I was impatient with her many times, and I regret all that. I regret things that I did, not only with her, but with other people as well.
What advice would you give to past you or even someone else today that
when
might
you
be in a
get
similar...
that urge to be impatient, to say something, just kind of shut your mouth and think about it for a while, and the urge will go away. Don't act on instinct. I mean, not on instinct, but don't react right away.
Like a nasty email to your boss, write it and save it as a draft. And if you still like it tomorrow, then send it.
Well, exactly. What I've done many times, I have written letters. And I write a letter. Say I didn't like what you did today. I will write you a letter.
Oh.
So and so and so. And
that's the last thing I need is an angry letter
you
from
can
an
get
old
as nasty
person.
as you want to in the letter, because you get the letter, and then I would put it in the top drawer on my desk, and I leave it there for a day or two. After the third day, go get the letter and see if you want to mail it. And chances are you will not want to mail it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And on the same note, it's like if you do send that email or that letter, you might look back and go, I wish I didn't send that yesterday. Yeah.
What always happens, that's why I tell people that words are like a bullet. Once the bullet leaves the gun, and it finds its target, whatever that target may be. You cannot retract the bullet anymore. So words are the same way, because words will hurt people, and you don't want to say things and then later on you feel crappy about it. You feel sorry. That's why we have invented apologies. We need to apologize to people. I have apologized many, 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 many times to a lot of people. My parents, my mother, my dad, my wife, even to my kids. But not too much to my kids.
One of my favorite 21 Pilots lines is, some see a pen, but I see a harpoon.
That's correct. That's correct. Very nice. Ooh, I better put that in my journal.
Yeah, I didn't write it. It's a very, very famous band.
But you have to be very careful, because words can offend, and words can hurt. And
But, I mean, we shouldn't try and restrict everything we say, right? There's ultimately always going to be someone who gets offended, right?
Right.
So where's the line? It's like, how do we still say what we want to say? Like, I think of stand-up comedy as the perfect example, is because, people will go to a comedy show and they'll laugh at most of it, but like one joke, and they'll hate the comedian after that because they just got offended by one joke. But it doesn't make sense because they didn't actually mean it. It didn't come from a place of hate. They're joking.
Well, there's all kinds of ways to do it, and luckily the language has many words. You need to buy a thesaurus. And you know what thesaurus is?
Yeah, it's on the internet. I just type stuff in.
Get a thesaurus, and because a thesaurus will give you words that have the same meaning, but are not as offensive as some of the other words. For example, I'm going to tell you this
Euphemisms?
in Spanish. I will tell you this in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I used to know this friend of mine, and it was a lady, and her name was Rosa. And since I'm kind of a amateur poet, I'm always looking for words that rhyme. When they rhyme, I have all kinds of little sayings. And I thought it was cute. And I kept calling Rosa la más mugrosa. Mugrosa, you know what mugrosa is?
No, but
dirty.
The dirtiest.
Filthy.
The dirtiest.
Yeah, like you're andas muy mugroso. That means you're very dirty. You haven't taken a bath or shower.
Basically like calling her Dirty Rosie.
Exactly. I was calling Dirty Rosie. And I said, aquí viene Rosa la más hermosa. That's what I used to say.
Uh-huh.
And she was so kind and so nice that she would just kind of, I could see that there was some pain in those words. She would kind of shrug a little bit, and she didn't find it too funny. And I don't blame her.
Maybe because there was truth to it. Maybe she was a dirty little
No.
Rosie.
She was a wonderful lady. She was beautiful. She would comb her hair. She would look gorgeous. It's just that I was mean. And I was trying to... No, I was mean without thinking about it. I thought it was funny, and it was not funny. And I would call her, aquí viene Rosa la más hermosa. No, aquí viene Rosa la más mugrosa. And I would call her that over and over again, Rosa la más mugrosa. And one day I was thinking about it, and I said to myself, Self, you should be doing that. Because every time you tell her that, you hurt Rosa. So I changed to one word, from mugrosa to hermosa. And the next time that I ran into Rosa, I said, aquí viene Rosa la más hermosa.
The most beautiful.
And she was like a flower that opens up in the springtime. And from then on, to this day, I haven't seen her in many, many years, but if I would see her, I would say, Rosa la más hermosa. Rosa the most beautiful. Instead of saying Rosa la más dirty one,
Yeah, it seems like maybe something a guy would nickname another guy, and it would be totally fine if you're like, hey, Dirty Harry, or whatever. That's probably something else, but he'd be like, hey, what's up? But
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day,
different.
and we were talking about going to confession. Now, Catholics believe they go to confession, and I go to confession once in a while, and I always find it a little hard to tell the priest some of the things I have done. And I asked her, I find if I have which at my age you don't do much of that anymore. But if you have been with a woman or something other than your wife, and you're guilty of sin according to the church.
It's over. You're going to hell.
You
There's no way out.
Well, I don't know about that, but that's up to God. But you have committed adultery. No. So I asked this person. I said, well, have you ever done that? She said, well, I have. She said, it was a lady, and she told me. I said, well, how do you explain it to the priest? And I said, do you tell him, did I have sex with this guy, or did I have, what did you do? And she says, use the word intimate. And that I have been intimate with somebody else out of my marriage. Hey, that's pretty nice.
That's a pretty vague way of putting it. It could be emotionally or mentally intimate. You could be just like laying down and staring into someone's eyes, not touching them. I think a lot of couples would have problems if their partner was doing that with somebody else, simply just staring longingly. Yeah. So intimate seems like it would be a safe umbrella term. Yeah. There's many ways you can put it.
But there's many words that you can say things without having to offend people.
Euphemism is, I believe, the softening of a harsh term. Right? Can we fact check me, please? I really don't want to. I take at least a little pride in knowing some words. Euphemism. What's it say there? A mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt, referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing.
That's right.
So euphemism is the term you're talking about, and it's along the lines of, it's like, you don't want to just say he died. You can say he passed away, or the same thing like I farted or I passed gas is a euphemism.
I have a joke about that, but
Go ahead, yeah.
But I don't know if I want to say it or not, because I would have to use a bad word.
I want you to use a bad word. Let's see. Let's see if I can guess it. No, not that one.
But it's a joke, really.
Go ahead. It's okay. We're in 2022, and words are words.
I just don't feel comfortable using.
Okay, then don't do it. It's okay. I don't want to make.
Because I have to use the F word.
Can you use a euphemism? Can you
What's a euphemism for the F word?
I don't know.
When I was an interpreter for the federal courts, I used to interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English and the courts. And one day I was in court translating, and when you went to court and you were a translator, you were supposed to translate as exact as you could to what the other person would say. And it was being entered into the record. So I was there one time, and this lady they were asking her what this guy told her, and she called me a dirty thing. Mm-hmm. And the judge says, what did he call you, ma'am? And no, one guy told the other guy, he says, what did he call you? Well, I don't want to say it in court. You have to say it, because we're in a court of law. You have to say whatever he
it's important. It's hard sometimes.
And so he said, well, he called me a motherfucker.
Ooh, that son of a...
And I had to translate that in Spanish.
What'd you call that?
Pretty close. So they said, how do you say mother in Spanish? And I said, well, and everybody was watching me, and the judge and the attorneys. Well, you could say, and I said, well, you can say it in many words.
Oh, okay.
Or you can say madre or whatever, like.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, folks. I normally don't use those terms. Not that I have
if you
virgin
want,
ears.
I can go back and post-edit, and I can put a little beep or a little...
Can you put a euphemism next to it?
I can actually just cover your mouth with a little rubber duck and go every time you cuss.
No, what the hell? We live in a real world.
That's the authenticity.
But I don't like to use terms like that. But when I was a translator for the courts, I would have to translate things like that.
Did anything ever make you laugh?
Oh yeah, there were many things that make me laugh. And sometimes I would embellish it a little bit.
Oh no, you're not supposed to do that though, right?
No, you're not supposed to, but in the translation of it,
Okay. You
you can play tricks because you're the only translator there. So I would either remove or embellish a little bit, and it would be more interesting. But sometimes there are things that you cannot translate word by word. You have to.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a thought. It's the insult that you have to translate. When I used to be translating, I used to translate for many, like pamphlets, for example. I was the official translator for the state of New Mexico there for a while for the Department of Game and Fish. And they would give me a pamphlet, like go see the ducks at somewhere or what wild fowl or whatever. And there are many words that I did not know. For example, how do you call a mallard duck in Spanish? You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
How about a sandhill crane?
What is even duck in Spanish?
Pato?
Pato, of course. And palo is stick, right?
You're right. Palo is stick.
Pato is duck. Okay, so yeah.
And there's sayings, talking about palo. God. Now we're getting into subjects that, in Spanish they use that word as a dirty phrase too.
A stick? What could that mean?
Well, in Spanish, they use the word palo like. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, I wish I hadn't deleted a certain video in the notes. It's not important. It's a funny reaction video.
Let's change the subject.
Change the subject.
Is it time for a fortune cookie?
We could do that. I've got reaction videos too. We've got plenty of time left in the episode. Let's hit a fortune cookie. Let's see. Just testing out. Sometimes I forget where the sounds are.
Ready? Okay, there you are.
I think these ones have almost run their course, and we're about to order some more ones. And I'm thinking
You've been saying that for 2 months already.
Yeah, I know. But actually, I'm glad I haven't yet because it came to me an idea.
I can't even open them.
You really can't open these? That's not an act? I thought it was an act this whole time.
Open it.
I'm over here. Okay, I got you. I'm thinking about getting like 2 or 3 different bowls. A red bowl for bad ones.
Oh, that's a trick to it.
I suppose. Maybe like a blue bowl for good fortunes. All battles are first won or lost in the mind. Joan of Arc.
True.
All battles are first
Abraham
won or
Lincoln
lost.
said one time that anything that we accomplish, first you do it in your mind. If it's not in your mind, you cannot do it. I know that it's a fact. When I was a kid, and you know the story already, I was on TV for 25 years. I had the Val de la O show, my show that for about 10, 12 years, it was local for the state of New Mexico, Colorado, and Arizona, that sort of thing. But then I got the idea to nationally syndicate the show, and I decided I was going to do it.
You visualized it.
I visualized the show in the cities.
Before you started it, in your mind, you already had the show.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I was talking about with like the manifestation thing earlier with the clay
And
pots.
I could see my show in New York, Chicago,
You could see it.
California, Los Angeles, wherever it would be. And so I started to work towards that goal. And let me tell you something, it was not easy, but I did it. And 2 or 3 years later, my show was in 56 major markets.
Hell yeah.
It was in Chicago, New York, Dallas, you name it, San Francisco.
One of my favorite things to do, and I did it with this set, is in an empty room, I will just stand in the empty room and I'll just look and I'll just imagine where each piece of furniture is going to be, where each prop is going to be, and I'll just stare at an empty room for 15, 20 minutes, visualizing in my mind, winning that battle before it happens. You ever do that when you're moving stuff around?
In fact, let me tell you, the other day I have a sofa that's 22 years old, and it was beginning to tear, and I decided to buy a new sofa. And I was going to buy 2 sofas, a sofa and a love seat, and I put them in such a way in my den. And I have a big den, and but I fell in love with this sectional. It's a round sectional. And I was sitting on my sectional the other day. Oh, and the reason why I bought the sectional was because I didn't want to have my sofa and my love seat in such a way like I had them before. And I did many ways those sofas, and I played with them, but I never could. I liked the way, but it just. But I decided that I was going to buy the sectional because it would look better, sort of according to my mind. Well, last night I was sitting on my sectional, and I was looking at my room, and I had turned off the TV. I was just sitting there, like you were saying, looking at myself, and all of a sudden it hit me. I should have bought the other sofas, the love seat and the regular sofa, because I found a different way to put them in a room. But it's too late.
Yeah. But see, like what I do and what I enjoy is before going and buying that sofa, I'd sit and stare at the room. I'd empty the room, and I would look at the empty room, and I would just imagine physically where things are going to be. And
well, you can do, and this is an old trick of interior decorators. Just make little cutouts of your little sofa.
Oh.
And try to do it according to scale.
Huh.
And you get, like, say this is your room, and you put the little sofa here and the tables here, and you can put them anywhere you want to.
Yeah, I've never done that. That is really smart.
And that's very helpful.
Huh. That's cool.
And if you do them to scale, or as close to scale as you possibly can, then you can play with them. Because you say, I'm going to put my sofa here and my TV here, or I'm going to put my TV over here, whatever. And your room is going to be scaled because you have your walls, you have windows to contend with, and which obviously you cannot put a sofa next to a window. You could if the window was high, but I have found that very helpful.
I might try that next time.
You know, it's funny. We went from being an interpreter in a federal court to
interior designers.
Interior designers. Oh, I have a lady who is a very good interior designer. And she told me something the other day that I did not know. She said that the best interior decorators are gay.
Oh, right on. I mean, hey, that seems like a fair bet.
She told me, she says, we were talking about interior decorating. She's done it for many, many years. And she did interior decorating for my home. And I really admire the way she did it, and she's very good. And one day we were talking about interior decorating, and she told me the best people, the best interior decorators that I know, she says, are gay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
I wouldn't know either. Maybe.
Would you know that?
I have no idea.
Are you any good interior decorator?
I would say no. If you walk through my house, my walls are still white. You can even see the white walls on the camera.
Well, I was trying to find out if you were gay, that's why.
I promise I'm not. At least as far as I know, I'm not.
How would you know?
Say what? Why wouldn't I know? I don't know.
What kind of water is this?
That's called Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
Yeah.
Mountain water.
Shout out to Liquid Death.
Drinking water from the Alps.
We're going to see if we'll hit these guys up and see if they like the content we're making.
Just water from the tap.
I don't know. It tastes pretty good to me. It definitely does not taste like tap water. I've been thinking about getting a reverse osmosis water system for under my sink.
It
tastes very clean.
I thought it was beer a while ago.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like a beer can, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Well, it's all water is H2O.
I mean, that's half of the story, because there's also electrolytes in the water too. Your special salts, you got your potassium, your magnesium.
Well, that's a contamination, but I'm saying...
What? No, you need that stuff.
What?
You need the electrolytes.
Electrolytes you do.
I wouldn't consider it a contamination.
No, I'm not saying... I was not talking about electrolytes. You were talking about that. I was not. But water can be contaminated with dirt or worms or whatever. But if it's nice and clean water, hasn't been boiled or treated in some way, it's just H2O. It doesn't matter. You know, I've thought about life sometimes about that. that the good things in life, the ones that really, really count, they never change.
Like water?
Water, for example. Water's been H2O since it was made, or God made it, I suppose. And I'm not going to apologize. God made water. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, don't apologize.
I get angry with myself because I'm always apologizing sometimes. Why?
I don't know.
In my belief, and I am entitled to my belief, we have a creator and he made everything. So he made water. And his H2O in the beginning of time, in the time of the dinosaurs, today is still H2O.
The universe is a very mysterious place.
What?
The universe is a very mysterious place.
That's true.
Yep.
And we are so puny.
Do you experience any glitches in your universe? Some stuff that just doesn't line up? Like maybe someone is here and then you look and then they're gone? Or like you look at the clock and it's... Or like how you were saying you got lost? You experience glitches in your reality?
I do. And sometimes I see like a figure, like a shadow or something. And I turn to see who is it. And there's nothing there.
Where are you when you see the figure in the shadow?
Oh, I could be at my house. I see them sometime in the daytime. But I see, I don't know where they come from. I think it's really a figment of your imagination, most likely. But I turn around and there's something there. And then, I saw something. And then when I turned to see what it was, it's not there.
I experienced a glitch the other day, too. You really think something was there, right?
Well, maybe.
When that leopard
Maybe.
shows up, you must suck that up.
That was the total... I meant to hit the scary one. Maybe it was a leprechaun. Yeah, no, I saw a guy the other day. I was walking my dog, and he looked at me and then started walking quickly, and I turned around and put my leash on the dog, and then when I turned around, he was gone. It was weird.
There's a lot of phenomenon in the world and that we don't know about. And because, I believe that we live in the physical dimension. And
You think there are more dimensions than just the physical?
yes, I think so. We have the spiritual dimension,
Maybe
the physical dimension.
The fifth dimension, maybe?
Exact. What?
The fifth dimension?
Are you talking about the musical group?
What?
There's a
No.
musical group called the Fifth Dimension.
No, I've never heard it. But no, like 3D is the space we're in, like 4D is the time that lets us move through the space, and then you're talking
Yeah, I think
spirit
there's
realm.
the time dimension. I think there's a spiritual dimension. I think that the physical dimension. We live in a physical dimension. I can see you, you can see me, and when I die, this body is going to be destroyed, either by fire or by dirt. I'm just going to disintegrate. But the spirit will continue. Now that spirit we cannot see. We cannot see the spirit because we're not spiritual. We have to be spiritual to see the spirits.
Do you think some spirits can't move on? Do you think some get stuck like
It's
ghosts?
possible. It's possible that a spirit could be stuck in the dimension that we live in right now. I don't know why, but they could be stuck, and maybe that's when we see a spirit. How do you explain a haunted house, for example?
A poltergeist. The whole house itself has an entity that possesses it, right? That's a poltergeist. But if it's like, you could have other things in it too, right? Like spirits or ghosts.
I never been. Have you been into a haunted house?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. There have been some shit happening in my house. Like, no, and I've had people in my house watch it happen. So I have seen my vape just fly off the desk. Okay, nobody was there with me at that time. Then a couple months ago, I was with my girlfriend, and my guitar was on the hanger, and just like it is right now, and it just hangs. Nothing's happening. It's just there, and then all of a sudden, boop, it just gets hit. and it just starts rocking back and forth. We both look up, and I was like, "You saw that, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's just one of the things that happens." And then the other one that happened was I had a grinder on my piano just sitting there. I was with my saxophone player. We're in my office, and all of a sudden, it just gets flicked off, and I don't understand. And it might not be a ghost. Here's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's like waves in the universe. You know how like we have like light waves and microwaves and radio waves? Like who knows what kind of currents are out in space-time, and maybe something is a particle's getting caught up in the wave and it just bumps whatever's here.
Well, think of the present inventions that we have today. Radio, for example, radio waves. Music and voices travel through in radio waves. We cannot see them, but yet we capture them in some way and put them through a radio. Look at TV. The first time I saw TV, I couldn't believe it.
I still can't believe it. Are you kidding me?
That people can send pictures and images through the waves, and you have a receiver, and you can receive these images. And now, you know, all these things. And I said to myself, well, what if we could invent a machine, and maybe they will someday, that can tap into the spiritual world.
You know, honestly,
you
there's
can
a lot
see
of
spirits.
I'm gonna find some videos for our next episode because I've been exposed to this. There's definitely people who have pieces of technology, and they're what are they called, like ghost hunters, spirit boxes, and stuff like that. There's things people are trying to invent and creating, and who knows if they work, who knows if they don't. There's some spooky things that I've seen. One of them was a guy filming, and then like there was kind of like just heat, infrared, and then in the building they were looking at, there's kind of like a humanish figure in the heat, in the thermal vision, and then he went up and engaged with whatever was going on. That's another thing, is like he welcomed it, and he got scratches on his leg.
Can you imagine taking TV back just 400 or 500 years back into the past?
Yeah, that would be fun. They'd kill you.
You know,
Yeah, people would kill you and
a lot
call
of
you a
people
witch.
were accused of witchcraft many, many, many years ago because they came up with a new invention or new something, and now we take it for granted. You know, the cell phones. I'm amazed what is in that little cell phone. It amazes me even how we receive them. Have you opened a cell phone? You look inside?
Like cracked it open and looked at the microchips and stuff?
Mike, how do you explain a microchip that can hold all that information in a little piece of metal there?
The silicon. It's
The flash drives can hold 2,000 songs.
It's like the actual minerals are magical.
Why?
It's crazy, I know.
How can a chip that small hold 2,000 songs?
Again,
or more?
Imagine it's like it
And
took
TV shows, actual pictures.
It's the manifesting thing. It was humans. They thought it. They won that battle. They knew somehow they wanted to capture sound or pictures and play it back in time. And it's kind of like a time traveling thing. And it took maybe thousands of years to figure it out. But enough humans worked together over time to build up the science to make cameras and microphones and computers. And by God, we manifested. I didn't do shit. They did. The other humans manifested this crazy stuff to do all this stuff. It's kind of...
There's a lot of things that are mysterious to me. One is very simple. How come a fart is so funny?
Because I don't know. Maybe it plays on the humility.
If you want to make people laugh.
Well,
you know, I saw a comedy routine the other day, and this TV show that has gags and stuff like that, and they had a bench, and this old lady was passing by, and she had a little thing in her hand, and she could actually press it, and it would sound like as if she was farting herself. So as she was passing by, she would press this little button and try to sit on this bench. And it seemed like she was doing the farting. There was no fart, but she did it. And those people found it very strange, and after a while they started to giggle. Why is a fart so funny?
There's three big elements in comedy, or there's more, but I think there's like shock or surprise value. There's humility, right? That plays on like embarrassment, and then might also go with the shock value or surprise. It's like a misdirection. So you make them think one thing, and then all of a sudden it lays on another face that they didn't expect. Like, there's probably a lot more, but I think the fart plays on embarrassment, humility, and also the surprise factor. And we're also kind of like ape people. I mean, monkeys throw shit at each other. So, you know.
Wow, we went from farts to TV and.
Well, you're the one who brought that up. I didn't bring that up.
Well,
I was trying to talk about dimensions like you were.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sure there's flatulence in all dimensions with consciousness.
Is there a euphemism for flatulence?
What? That's the euphemism. Yeah, right. That's not even a euphemism. That's the technical term.
See, if you say fart, it's too raw.
It's hard. It's harsh. It sounds weird.
But the euphemism is flatulence.
Well, I don't know. Well, is the technical, because flatulence is the
euphemism for flatulence to even ease the word a little more? That's what we do at thesaurus.
A thesaurus. We got a thesaurus and more right there on the screen. I would like to show you some of these videos. We've got a lot of fun.
Show them to me.
Yeah, we can bring up the. Let's start out with this game. It's called, and I turn these sounds into a song, and I promise they're not too bad. But we're just gonna listen to it, and after a playthrough or two, you're gonna tell me what you think is happening. So we'll hide the screen if you want to bring it over to the other screen in the control room, Cameron, and you'll have to wear your headphones. And we're just gonna see what happens. And we have some Darwin awards too, with some people attempting things. All right.
Let's see.
Keep going. No. Can you come and shield his arm and maybe paddle?
Hold on it.
Here we go.
There it goes.
Take your time. Keep it straight up and down. Straight up and down. Yeah. Blow. Blow, blow, blow. Blow hard, blow hard, blow hard. Harder, harder, harder. Blow, blow, blow. Keep going. No.
I can tell you it's probably not what you think it is.
What is it?
What do you think it is?
Nothing. I don't know.
Do you want to hear it again?
No.
No? Let's move on to the next one. And then, it's a lot of art and stuff. One more time. All right, what about that one? What do you think's happening?
I don't know.
No, you're not even going to take a random guess? Anything in the known universe?
No.
No? All right, we'll move on to the next one.
I don't really care.
You don't really care?
No.
No? Well, it's a new game I'm trying with you. Okay, maybe we should start showing the videos. Let's go back to the first one. Yeah, yeah, we can actually show the videos now. So,
here we go.
For all the listeners, it's glass blowing.
Keep it straight up and down. Straight up and down.
It's a bulbous piece of glass.
Blow, blow, blow.
And he's blowing through the tube
Blow, blow, blow. Keep going.
to make a bubble out of the hot glass.
No.
And that's it. And I thought it was super cool. Woo. Nice. All right, the next one. Now, we kind of have a workout theme. There's definitely a workout theme in a lot of these review videos, and I want to emphasize that your moderation is key kind of phrase. So. What happened? Oh. There we go. It's a fun workout. So that's what that sound was. So for all the listeners, it's a bigger dude, or I guess a regular sized dude, So
Is that
just-
being included in what we're talking about?
yeah, no, this is just funny videos, and I made a beat at the end incorporating all these. So this is a guy making a clay pot. It's a very big pot, and he's just slapping it with the paddle as it turns because he needs to get those creases, bro. It's crease. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So the key here is I had to find a lot of percussive like sounds in videos because I made a beat out of it. So that's why they're like that's the sound I used. Do you go to the gym?
Once in a while.
You ever see any crazy stuff there?
Like what?
Like that? What else? Let's see.
Maybe.
I think I got some other gym videos. There's definitely some. Oh, dude. This is a great one. I love it. I don't know what exercise that is. What is he doing? He's so for the listeners, it's a very big guy. He's like big in the sense he's got a very large belly, and it looks like a bunch of heavy weights. He's bouncing the bench press on his belly. Yeah, this is how Russians work out. And for the listeners, it's one Russian doing leg lifts off of a tree branch, another Russian ducking under his legs, punching his abs, and then a bear, an actual bear, is in the background bouncing the tree branch. This makes
Is that
me
an actual bear?
to me that looks like a real bear. What do you think? Is it real or fake?
Well, I don't know.
I think that's real.
I would be afraid of the bear.
Oh, I've got some bear attack videos here. We probably shouldn't watch them. This one makes me happy. I don't want to watch the bear scare videos. Those ones scare me. Yeah, that looks like a real bear to me. It's probably a trained bear they got as a cub, but it's literally bouncing the branch up and down.
I don't want to pull up that.
This water
hamstring
doesn't
tear.
taste any special.
Dude,
Mint.
can we please?
Yeah,
You can take off. You can turn away, bro. I really want to stress to people that yes, exercising is good, but be careful.
This shit is painful to see.
I know.
and hear,
I'm not getting any reactions out of my uncle. He's kind of very nonchalant, so I'm just gonna let's give it a test. Let's see.
All right, I'm not watching.
You can turn around.
Tell
man.
me when it's done.
Okay. Here, can you turn the volume on? You got to turn the volume on.
I had a bet to be able to do the front split in 1 month.
Okay, so
This was supposed to be a progress video.
it's a TikTok guy doing the splits.
After 1 month of stretching, the day had come. This was the second try, but I still had to push a little to get there.
Hamstring tear.
Ever wondered what a hamstring tear sounds like?
Is that real?
Yeah, I think it's real. Do you want to let's play it again? Let's see if you think it's real.
I had a bet to be able to do the front split in 1 month.
I don't think so.
This
don't
was
think so?
supposed to be a progress video. After 1 month of stretching, the day had come. This was the second try, but I still had to push a little to get there.
I don't know. It could be fake.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Probably for the views. Hey, man.
A man making a prank video to put on YouTube almost died after his head was cemented inside a microwave oven. Firefighters called out to release him, say he was foolish and irresponsible. The rescue cost more than £600, and the emergency services have criticised the 22-year-old as he could have deprived someone else of help. He's been speaking to our Black Country reporter, Ben Godfrey. It's a man making a prank video to put on YouTube.
This is for our Darwin Awards. Now I found a bunch of people doing extreme things. Putting his head in a microwave and cementing it. No?
Cool.
Your reaction videos are hard with my uncle. Here we go. Oh, there's one.
Because I find them stupid.
You find him stupid? Well, yeah, that's the point. So there's a guy doing a backflip on one of them back rollers, and he almost lands it. Now I have a better parkour video. There's a guy jumping from a bridge. You don't like it. You think it's stupid.
I like it, but I think
Yeah, I relate to this from jumping off the wall into a swimming pool and breaking my hip. Don't do this stuff, guys. Oh!
wow.
That could be very bad. I don't like that stuff anymore because you never know what's in the water. You never know how deep it is. Unless you go swim down in
You
it.
get
but
killed.
Yeah.
You know, see those people jump from the gorge?
Well, imagine his foot gets caught in a crevice or his shoelace gets oddly tied up and snaps his ankle. So many multitude of things can happen here. Let's see. I think I have some more. I found some more videos for fun. Okay, yeah, this is probably fake, but I found it rather amusing. It is called the Rotor Challenge. And this is under the Darwin Awards. I'm trying to figure out who the most ballsy Darwin Award winner of today is. Yeah, this is probably fake. You can never tell these days. So it's a guy on the top centerpiece of helicopter propellers, and they just start spinning faster and faster and faster. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fake.
That's fake.
It's fake as could be.
No.
There's a lot of things that people do out there. Now, this is actually something interesting that I came across. It was an article. I'm pretty sure it's real. And we could be just spreading fake articles, but it's a baby drop box in India. And it's for troubled mothers. I think it's in India. Yeah, let's see. No, this is the wrong article. There's one called Baby Dropbox in the RSS notes. Oh yeah, there it is. Nonprofit organization aimed at helping mothers in need. Yeah. Can we make this a little bigger for me, please? Yeah. Safe Haven Baby Box is a nonprofit organization funded by Monica Kelsey. Is meant to prevent the abandonment of newborns by giving desperate mothers a place to safely leave their children without having to be seen. They also install safety drawers, which work similar to the boxes, and run a 24-hour hotline for the mothers in crisis. It sets off an alarm. There have not been any dead abandoned infants in India since the state's first box installed in 2016.
Well, here in the United States, I saw an article the other day where I can't remember the details, but something like you have drop boxes also in fire stations.
Really?
And if a baby,
infants.
somebody wants to give up their baby, just drop it in this box.
This is fascinating. I had no idea this was... I mean, I heard of the baby in the basket on the doorstep. I guess that problem just doesn't go away.
But, I think they want to make it even more known to people so that people will not drop their kids in a garbage or whatever.
That is a terrible thing that
That's
happens.
terrible.
Yeah.
I read about this lady. In fact, I think I saw a video of her dropping her baby in a garbage can.
Oh, that's such a waste of good fetal tissue that could be sent off to the labs
Well,
and
it could
sold
be a lot
to
of
the
things,
labs.
and I just don't understand it.
So, but back to the drop boxes. What do you think that is as a solution to maybe like an abortion? Do you think?
I think it would,
and I won't even use
it's
the
not
term
a solution to the
dropping
abortion,
a baby in the
but
drop
it'd be
box.
an alternative to.
Is it a better alternative in your
think
opinion?
so. There's a lot of parents, a lot of people, or wannabe parents that would like to adopt a child, and it's not fair to the child. Remember, I mean, the child has a right to live like anybody else. Can you imagine if you were dropped off somewhere when you were a child? I remember you as a baby.
My dad dropped me off at school like 3 hours early once. My mom got pretty pissed at him. I was like 6. I don't remember that. I was the only kid at the playground. I went under the playset for like 2 hours before the school opened. Yeah.
You know,
There was another day my mom forgot to pick me up from the bus stop because of the time change. So again, it was I think the same year. I just like walked. We were out in the mountains, so I walked about a mile and a half from the bus stop home. I knew my way, but sorry, Mom and Dad, to call you out on that. I still love you both.
You had to add that.
You know, it helps me with my navigation. Again, you get lost as a kid and you go running away in the woods and stuff, and then you can find your way back in Spain when you get lost in the cities of Spain.
In Spain?
Yeah, remember I told you I got lost?
Told me about that.
Yeah. Everything comes and connects
I
together.
played hooky once in a forest. In the bosque. They call it bosque here. El bosque.
You played hooky?
Yeah. Me and 3 other guys. And we decided to play hooky. And we got our lunches and we went to El Bosque or El Bosque. A lot of trees. We took a guitar and played and stuff like that. And after a while, it got boring. And the following day, the principal, the superintendent, called me into his office. And he says, Valentino? He said, yes, sir. Where were you yesterday? I told him the truth because I knew he knew already. Excuse me. I said, I wasn't here. Well, where were you? I said, I played hooky.
How old were you?
I was in about the 9th grade already, or 10th maybe. And me and 3 other fellows, and we were all musicians. We would sing and do all kinds of things. Took up a couple of guitars and went into the El Bosque, and we took our lunches. We could eat over there, but it got boring after a while. And the superintendent called me into the school the following day. He says, where were you yesterday? And I said, I was playing hooky. And he said, oh, I knew that, he says. I already knew he knew. So then we discussed it for a little while. He said, you know that it was wrong. I said, it is. And see, I was a very good student. I was valedictorian of my class and stuff like that. And so he was looking at a very good student who did a stupid thing. And that's I find that very unique about human beings. They're so smart that they do real stupid things.
But why was that stupid to skip school
Well, I shouldn't have played
one
hooky.
day?
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish.
Yeah, why was that a bad thing?
Well,
if
let
you
me
were a
finish.
good student.
So he told me, he says, Valentino, he said, I'm going to let it go this time. The word forgiveness is so handy. He said, I'm going to let you go this time. But, he says, next time, I'm going to tell Ralph. Guess who Ralph was? My dad. And it's your dad. Your dad is Ralph the Third. And he said, next time I'm going to tell Ralph. I said, please don't tell Ralph, because I know what Ralph was going to do to me. He would have beat the hell out of me. And I was afraid of my dad, and rightfully so. And I never did it again. Ever.
Yeah, that just sounds like using fear and corporal punishment to keep a kid compliant in a place that might not be best for them. School's maybe not the best place for a lot of people. And that whole I don't agree with any of it. I don't think you did anything wrong.
No, I'm not saying that.
And I don't think
it was
you
wrong
broke-
according to the rules that we were living in. We have rules, and I was supposed to go to school every day, and my parents sent me to school, and instead I went and played hooky.
But looking back on it, did you really do anything wrong? Who did you hurt?
No, I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't sacrifice
rules.
a dog in the forest.
Yes.
Nothing like that. But it was still wrong because I was going against the will of my parents.
But what if they were wrong? And you taking your own free will and volition
even if they were
was
wrong,
the
they were
right
right.
choice. So yeah, if you're abiding by their wrong, that doesn't make you right. That just makes you also
I've told
wrong.
my children, I've told my grandkids, I said, when your mother tells you something, she may, but even if she's wrong, she's right. Why? Because she is your mother.
I disagree. We're all people, and sometimes you get forgot at the bus stop, and if you just wait, maybe they don't come. And maybe you have to decide to go
forgetting you at a
home.
bus stop is different.
It's a light example, but like what I'm saying is
But when
like,
you purposely, now if they purposely leave you at the bus stop,
right.
that's like playing hooky. See, I went to school and I purposely did not go to school, and I went to the forest and I ate my lunch and I played the guitar in the forest there somewhere playing hooky. Now that was on purpose. Now if your parents purposely forget you at the bus stop, then that's wrong.
Yeah.
But if they forget you because they forget you, then it's just a mistake that they made because they didn't remember.
Right. So it's I guess we're kind of arguing two things. What I'm saying is if your parents were actually wrong and then you just go along with it, that doesn't make you right. Just because they're your parents. Sometimes your parents are wrong because they are people and you have to make your own decisions. That's the point I'm trying to drive home.
Well, possibly. I'm sure if your parents are not there. But what I'm saying is if you rely on your parents for your subsistence, for food, for shelter, for everything else, and they are your parents, they brought you into this world, you have to do what they... You have rights, possibly, I'm sure. But what I'm saying
pretty
is
sure
that
children have rights.
when I was
I'm
I
pretty
raised
sure we
kids,
just talked about not hurting
when
children.
my dad raised me, he was a dictator, a benevolent dictator. He was whatever he said, it went. I couldn't do anything about it. And when I was raising my kids, I raised my kids almost the same as my dad raised me. I was a final word, and they might not have liked it. And now they're raising their kids, and I saw my daughters. I had no sons, but I had my daughters, and I saw them raising their kids. And I saw them once in a while. I saw my daughter, Cristal, beat the heck out of her daughter one time. Not beat her up, but she spanked her. And I saw my oldest daughter spank her son. So I got spanked too, and they got spanked. I spanked them, and my dad spanked me. So I think it worked pretty good because I'm a good fellow.
I don't know.
I think that's one of the things that's missing in our society today, that we have kids that grow up with no
We need
discipline.
to bring back the whip. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it should be already.
I don't know,
We should have given it up.
Because when you incorporate violence and
I ask
corporal
myself-
punishment at a young age, then
I
they
ask
do
myself-
things like accidentally hit women when they act out in their adult lives. Those mannerisms carry on, and you can break these cycles if you use different patterns.
Well, it's possible. Everything is possible in life.
Sure,
number
yeah.
one. But
We're throwing around giant pieces of metal in the air, and we're just acting like it's normal. Airplanes.
But, one of the questions that I ask myself every day, particularly when I watch TV, I'm watching the news, and they said, this crime was committed by a 13 or 14-year-old boy at 3 o'clock in the morning somewhere. The first thing that I ask myself, where in the hell are the parents? Where are the parents? If they were my kid, if that kid was my kid, or if I had been, when I was a little boy, 13, 14 years old, I would not have been on the streets because my dad wouldn't have let me. And I wouldn't have let my kids. And so...
I think we're getting to the bottom of something that's deeper here. Are we saying that children or just humans in general at a young age, they're naturally going to do bad and get into mischief? Is that what we're getting at?
I don't say that.
If we don't enforce and hold children down in this way, that they will go out and do bad things.
Children do not understand parameters. You have to establish parameters, in my opinion. Just like you put a fence in your house so the dog won't get out. The same thing you do with kids. And they have to know what parameters you are setting
I
for
agree.
them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Everybody
has
boundaries. And if you don't have parameters, then they'll do anything. Say, hey, you want to go at 3 o'clock in the morning to the park and do something? Well, let's do it. There's no parameters. They were not told that they're not supposed to leave the house after 10 or 11 o'clock at night, or they were not told they were supposed to be studying their homework or doing their homework for school. And so that's where they get into trouble. And here, I'm an old man already. I'm past 80 years old. And I have never been arrested in my life. I'm not saying that I'm special per se, and I'm not saying that I could not I could possibly be arrested even today.
It
But
means you listened to the rules that were laid out for you. I have been arrested. I was arrested at 18.
Well, so congratulations.
That's not congratulations. It was like a welcome to adulthood, an FU from the government.
And then it might have been a good thing if you learned from it.
I wasn't hurting nobody.
Huh?
I wasn't hurting nobody. We were smoking weed up by a golf course, and some angry house owners got mad.
You were hurting yourself. But you were too dumb to realize you were hurting yourself.
Touche.
I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, smoking's not good.
But, well, all I can say is that children have to have perimeters, in my opinion. And they're not smart enough to give themselves perimeters. And so you have to have your parents do that for you.
You're right.
You know, when you commit a crime, you're 13 or 14 years old, the law will not hold that child responsible. Guess who they come after? The parents. In fact, there's a case right now about some people that the parents being taken to court because their kid, they gave a gun, an AK-47 or whatever, to some kid 13, 14 years old as a gift, and he went and killed some people.
Well, they enabled him with the gun, so they're at fault. But they definitely put kids away. They'll lock kids away, won't they?
What?
They will lock kids away if kids go off doing murders. Kids get convicted and go to
Well, he will,
prison.
but they're also persecuting the parents.
Do they?
Yeah, they are doing.
Maybe in that case.
I saw where they're in court right now. They're going to persecute the parents, and they're going to bring charges, and most likely they will end up in prison also.
The law's a funny thing. Takes some time to catch up with a lot of things too, you know.
The law.
My favorite laws are the laws of physics, though.
Well, those are the natural laws. Those are the natural laws of the universe, and you cannot change them. You can play with them, but
I think that's what human
like
law
the law
is.
of gravity or whatever. But laws are very important, and laws are very necessary, because otherwise we would have anarchy, and it would be a mess. Sometimes you might not agree with the law, and you have that right. That's why we have courts. Take them to the court, and there's going to be another human being passing a judgment on that, and then you still do not agree, so you take it to a superior, another court, and another court, and finally end up in the Supreme Court. And even those decisions are wrong. But the thing, at least you have an alternative.
Yeah, it's it's amazing anything works at all, really. I mean, if you've ever tried to get a group of people to do like a small task.
Well, you have
trying to build an entire country's political system.
I was reading the other day about the Pilgrims. They came to Plymouth Rock, and they had a meeting on their ship before they left the ship to go on shore. They had a meeting the day before on the ship, and they said, tomorrow we're going to go on shore, so we have to come up with some rules. And they came up with a set of rules, and they voted on them, and they all agreed to the rules, or had majority rule, and then that's really the beginning of law. They were setting law. For example, an attorney told me this one time. If you go to, say you and me and a group of 30 people end up in an island somewhere in the Pacific, and if we wouldn't get along with each other, we're going to have to start setting some laws. What are we going to do if we catch that man violating your wife?
This, I think, is built into what humans are. Kids do this. Children do this during game play. When children are playing pretend or they're making games up, they will always start playing, but they'll make up the rules as a group as they go along.
Exactly.
And they don't need all the rules to start playing the game.
Because it's a game.
And that is just a mirror, I think, of what adults do. So
you're right.
Technically, adults are making up the rules along with the game of life.
And those rules become laws. And then if you violate the rules or laws have consequences. If you violate them, then you're going to have some consequences. What are we going to do with a man that we catch him violating somebody else's wife? Well, we're going to have to castrate him, or we're going to hang him, or give him a medal or something. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
But you have to have rules. You cannot live in a world of anarchy. You cannot do that.
Wow, this is so tough. I would hate to be a rule maker. No, because you could never get everyone to agree. You would never be able to get everyone to agree.
No. Like when you drive down the street, the red light turns on, you have to stop.
It's truly been who has the bigger stick, right, in history. Who's got the better technology, who's got the better sword, who's got the better army, and then they end up writing
And then
the
when
rules.
somebody violates the rules and the law, look at what Putin is doing right now.
Yeah, but I don't think Russia's got the biggest stick, so to speak. Who knows? There's a lot of interesting...
Well, they may not compared to some other countries.
I don't think
war
war is
he's
the
getting
same.
away with it because people don't want to start with World War III.
I don't think war is the same as it was last century. I think there's different types of things going on, different types of warfare going on.
I don't know what his motivation is, but
what is any leader or ruler's motivation? I mean, if you have a world of humans, there is going to be at least one who wants to take over everything.
Why?
It's just a competitive nature.
Why?
It's part of the biology.
Why would you want to kill people and dislodge people from their homes?
I don't know.
For what? What's the end game? What is it?
I imagine from that point of view, it's not about the killing of the people. I imagine from their point of view, that is a side effect of the major goal.
It is a side effect. But he's the
Like,
person who's
I
doing
don't
it
think-
smart enough to say, if I want to do this, if I want to conquer this country and put that country under my rule, then I'm going to have to kill all these people here.
But I don't think it's different. It's not like he's like a serial killer. I mean, he is, but it's not like he's just going in and just bombing to bomb. There's an end goal that he wants beyond that, right? And I think throughout history, there's always
What
been
is the end-
empires and always been
what's
kingdoms.
his motivation? His ego?
Sure, yeah. Ego, pride, self-worth, self-validation, that anything that any human leader has succumbed to in history. And it happens over and over and over again.
Well, I disagree.
I mean, in what ways? I mean, I think not all leaders are bad. I don't think bad is the ultimate motivator for every leader, but definitely the bad leaders, there's motives of just insatiable desire for power and control. That's what I think.
Well, you need to find out what the motivation is. That's what they cannot figure out about Putin. What is his motivation? They think he's doing this or now. If you take, for example, Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War, millions of men were killed. Americans were killed, both sides, But we know exactly what his motivation was: to save the Union. But here's Putin trying to go after a country that is worse than his country, which is Russia. They have a better economy, and as a result of it, he's killing a bunch of people.
I think I can boil it down into a very, very easy, simple idea. And what does every normal human do with their homes and their items? They organize, they clean, right? You'll put things in place. You'll clean your home. You'll clean your dishes. You'll make your bed. You're doing chores, right? You're organizing. It's an organizing thing. And all humans organize. Some humans are not mentally well. And sometimes that capacity to organize gets way out of control. They want to start organizing their community, and then that turns into the city. And then they want to start putting this thing in place here and that thing in place there, and they're essentially cleaning a bedroom that just never stops getting.
I think there's more than that. I think they have this huge, tremendous ego.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that too.
They succumb to the ego. They let the ego control them.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
You can let anything in your life control you. Sex, for example, or murder, or your ego. You look at these women or men as well, who do all this plastic surgery to themselves. It's a motivation behind it. They're trying to make themselves more pretty or look better or whatever the case might be. And so there's got to be a motivation, but it's their ego. Ultimately, ego is good. Ego is good to a certain point. It's like eating. Eating is good. You have to eat, otherwise you would die. But don't try to eat 100 hamburgers in one day. Then you're going to kill yourself. Or drink. Water is good, but don't try to drink 20 gallons in a day.
You can die from water poisoning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that ego is good. Without ego, look at the homeless people, and I'm not picking on them, but they don't seem to have any ego at all. They don't bathe.
And then there kind of is the spectrum on the that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that bedroom that never stops growing for a dictator. It starts as the house or the room, and then they need it to be the neighborhood, and then they need it to be the community, the city, and it just keeps growing. Whereas the homeless person is maybe content with what little they have, or they don't care to have anymore. Thus, their bedroom is void. They don't need it, and then it doesn't go much beyond that. So that lines up with the spectrum of ego that you're describing.
Well, the ego, because a dictator is different. If you had a group of people like a Congress or a parliament or something like that decides what to do, it'd be a different story. But this guy, like Putin or Hitler or Mussolini, they're the ones that make the ultimate decisions, and sometimes they're all wrong.
I don't think you can always boil it down to one person. I mean, to say like Putin is the bad guy, I mean, he's the president of Russia, but I mean, there's always a network of people around.
Oh, you're always going to have...
There's always a group of people.
You're
going to
be surrounded by...
So maybe he does have a Congress. Maybe you just can't see it. Maybe nobody can see it.
Well, nobody.
Maybe he doesn't. Who knows?
Nobody can vote against him. That's a problem. Here we can, in this country.
I don't know. I find all political spectrums fascinating from the stuff they got in Russia to what we got over here.
I'm not that smart to understand everything. All I can say is that I find it very cruel that all these children are dying, and they have to leave their country to go to another country. That's terrible.
America's done plenty of bad things too, and that's a logical fallacy to blame on America and say that makes it okay for Russia. That's not what I'm saying, but it's just like all empires that get out of hand eventually hurt somebody somewhere. The way I see it, I'm a tiny little ant, like a tiny little cell, and then just born into this world of chaos, and everybody's trying to control everything and get something from someone else, and then just taking a few breaths and then poof, that'll be it. So to me, it's not so important to get so wrapped up in it all.
Okay.
You trying to get that fortune cookie?
Yep. I'm trying to open it up because you didn't give me my little piece that I'm supposed to chew. How do you open these things? I'm not that weak.
Apologies to all the podcast listeners. My uncle is old and frail.
No, I'm not. I just opened it.
I'm just playing. You got it.
Hey! Every time I look at one of these fortune cookies, you know what I see?
A vagina.
An ass.
Okay. I was close. I was a couple inches away.
Looks like look.
Yeah, like legs?
Yeah, legs, like somebody's bending over.
Yeah, I could see that. I was thinking more, yeah, you're right. What's inside of it?
You need to get some of those other fortune cookies.
Do you want the bad ones?
Let's do it.
They could be offensive. They could have cuss words.
We read them. If we don't want to say anything about it, that's it.
Oh, you wanted to eat that, right? I was going to smash it.
What?
The cookie.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
No, it's all good. You got it.
Let me see what it says. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen more and talk less.
Yeah.
It's true.
We should listen more and talk less.
Exactly. All of us, including me and you and everybody else. We need to. Maybe podcasts are good because we're doing this thing out.
That's why I like the
Somebody
headphones,
told me the other day, I went to a party, and I used to be a former celebrity, that sort of thing. And when I arrived there, some of the people thought that I was going to be the life of the party. It turns out that I just stood to a side and I kind of was observing the people. I didn't know the people who they were there. And so I was talking to this person after the following day, and I said, "What did they say about me? Did they know who I was?" "Oh yeah, they know who you were." "Well, what did they say?" He says, "They said you're very quiet, that you were not talking very much." And I said, "Well, I didn't talk because I didn't know anybody." Last night I was watching a program with Johnny Carson, and as the commentators were saying that when he would go to a party, he was being Johnny Carson, funny and all that stuff. He would go to a party, he hardly would do anything. He would just stand around, kind of look and stuff like that. So I don't even know why I'm saying this. I forgot.
Well, it sounds to me almost like a story I was listening about Eddie Van Halen, the guitar player. And it's like to get that level of good, maybe in the way that you did on TV or Johnny Carson did or Eddie did on guitar, you've got to be an introvert. You got to study yourself. You've got to work very hard on what you're doing. And that comes at the sacrifice of all the extra time you spend with people. So maybe, from an entertainer, as a Carson or a Van Halen or a Valdello, on screen it looks like you're an extrovert, but maybe you're actually more introverted in real life.
Well, I'm a kind of an introvert.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that I'm kind of shy. I tell people that when I was growing up, I was very shy. And I'm still shy. I find it very hard to ask a girl to dance. For some reason, and I've been fighting it all my life. And I dance, and I know how to dance, but I would never. If you and I go to a place where the chances are that I will not invite anybody to dance, even though I may want to, but I won't do it. And I'm just kind of shy in that way. And I guess in certain things I'm very shy. And I'm not very. I should eliminate the word very. I can handle myself, but I can handle myself through my training. When I started out, I was a very shy kid. And not very, very shy. I mean, I did my homework. I did my public speaking, whatever I was going to do. Whatever I had to do, I did it. But I was kind of introvert. I certainly was not doing all kinds of things to get attention or whatever. And my life was like that. It's been like my life all the time. Sometimes people say, "How come you're so quiet? You're so-and-so. You used to be on TV. You entertained. But that was my job. That was what I was supposed to do in order to make a buck. But if I don't have to do all that, I won't do it. Like a boxer. A boxer beats up people to make money.
That's really weird. I was just reading this word spirit boxing, and as I was reading that word boxing in my head, you just said boxer. And that's another one of those glitches I was talking about. Just boxing. I was just looking at it. At the very moment you said it, I was looking at it. So I'm sorry, I lost concentration.
No, that's all right, dude. But I'm saying it's maybe all of us have a little bit of introvert in us and an extrovert also.
Sure, it's a spectrum.
Because a person is a multifaceted person. Think of your life, or you are not there yet completely, but I am. For example, who are you? People say, "Who are you?" I say, "Well, I'm a father, but I'm a grandfather. I'm even a great-grandfather now. I was a son. I was a husband. I was a basketball player. I'm a musician."
So many different ways you can
all these
define
facets
yourself.
that you have. You're like a diamond, and so you're a lot of things to a lot of people.
I came across a very good phrase, and it was, "Don't try and make anybody else happy, but you as a kid and you as an old man." So if you right now in the present, what you're doing, if the kid version of you is happy with what you're doing, and then the old version of you is also happy with what you're doing, then you're probably doing it right.
What did I tell you in the beginning when we started this podcast?
I don't know.
When I used to teach medicine,
told me lots of
I
things.
used to open my class, and the first thing that I would do, I would write on a blackboard, and I would say, "The purpose of life for humans is to be," then you fill the word. And the people would say, "Our main purpose in life is to be," fat, to be skinny. If you were fat, I guess. Some people, they say to be tall because they were real short, to be smart.
To be happy. That's kind of
And I
common
said,
one in America.
I said, the purpose of life is to be happy. If
Really?
you're happy within yourself, that's all you need. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to be short. That's why I keep telling people you will never be able to get rid of the homeless people because it's a lifestyle, and they are happy within that lifestyle.
And yeah, but I mean, yes, but is the purpose of life really to be happy? I don't know. Is it to be happy?
Of course,
Is that the end? Is that the pinnacle of everything?
I don't know. I'm just. I made a statement. Seems
I
to
know.
make sense.
It's
What
pro-
I'm saying
I don't
is
know.
that
It's posing questions.
somebody
on me.
said, as long. Now, let me preface the statement.
And it's a shame.
As long as the purpose, your goal is always to be happy. As long as you don't hurt somebody else.
And it's a shame we have to preface that as humans.
You
but
have
we
to
do.
preface that because the assassin will say, okay, well, I'm happy killing people. Or the rapist, I'm happy raping you. No, you cannot do that. You have to be happy as long as you don't hurt other people.
Wow. Yeah, and then then that define. Who do you start
then people say,
defining
well,
as
then-
people? Who's a person? Are animals people? No. So we can.
Well, animals, doesn't matter as long as
So we can put
it's
'em-
it's a living being, And they say, well, you mean you cannot kill a cockroach?
Well, but I mean like factory farming. That's where I was getting at with like putting pigs and cows and chickens in like terrible conditions. Like that's pretty bad, I think.
Well, you want eggs, don't you?
I do, but I would like chickens in my backyard in a chicken coop. I have the space, but that would be ideal.
Well, a lot of people do that.
Well, here in Albuquerque, you're allowed, I think, like 8 chickens? Can we look that number up real quick? Just for anybody living in Albuquerque that's got some yard
When
space.
I grew up in a farm, we used to produce most of our food. My dad used to kill pigs, and he even make bacon from, he would get this chemicals, whatever.
Was there an element of gratitude towards the animal or the harvest? Did you thank God or thank the animal that the food was there?
Do both.
Both?
The societies, a lot of people killed. They before they kill an animal, they talk to the animal and they say, Mr. Pig, I'm going to kill you because I want to eat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm sorry, I apologize to you, and then boom, they shoot the pig.
Well, yeah. I mean, saying sorry, you gotta, yeah.
Some people say you even have to apologize to the vegetables.
I came across an interesting
If you're going to
video.
eat a carrot, apologize to the carrot before you eat it.
I would say, in this is also a switch tactic for communications with humans, is don't go around apologizing to everyone. Don't say, I'm sorry I was late. Switch your words to thank you for waiting for me. Try and replace your I'm sorry with an I'm thank you. Instead of feeling guilty and bad, even if you do feel guilty and bad, try and find a thankful counterpart to that. And I think that's how we should eat our food. So instead of feeling, I'm sorry, pig, I'm sorry, carrot.
I agree with
just
you.
be like, thank you, carrot. Thank you, pig. I mean, because we have to. We have to.
Well, thank God who made the carrot.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so important that when you eat, or I do it all the time. When I eat breakfast or lunch or whatever, we always give a blessing. Say, thank you, Lord.
It's a common thing in
Or
human
for me,
culture.
it's very common to me.
Yeah.
In fact, I was eating the other day at the senior center, and the director of the senior center came to me. He says, Mr. De La O, he says, you're the only person that I see here blessing his food. You're the only one. I'm sure there's others, but I was the only one that he noticed. You're the only one that blesses your food before you eat it. And I said, thank you very much for recognizing that. I tell my grandkids, I said, food tastes better when you bless it.
Eat it with gratitude. Yeah, I mean that by blessing it, you mean eating it with gratitude.
Eating it with gratitude,
Thankfully,
exactly.
like being
what you're
thankful
doing, you're
for the food.
expressing gratitude that a supreme being provided you, God, if you believe in God.
Or just thankful in general.
or thankful in general, sure.
Is better than just eating.
You have to show humility to life. I hate people who are so proud and so
It's just
egotistical.
The law of the universe too. I think there's like laws of physics, and then there's definitely some deeper laws that kind of interact with beings.
You have to show gratitude,
I think so.
and in the end, you're going to reap the blessings of gratitude because you're going to have a good life. Not perfect by any means, and yet at my age, and I'm past 80 already, I look at myself in the mirror and I like myself.
Do you pick up a penny on the ground when you see one?
Yes,
Why?
because something good is going to waste. A penny is a penny. When I was a kid, a penny would buy you a candy. Now it doesn't buy you very much, but still, I pick them up. It's just a matter of habit.
This is fascinating because I for a while, for many years, I was not doing it, but I think I'm going to start doing it. And it was explained in something
I
I
picked one
heard
yesterday.
Yes, and this is a mentality you have, and I heard it explained. If you're declining the penny, you're telling the universe you have everything. But
What?
the penny, like you have all the money you need, right? Why would the universe then give you 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 if you're just like, I won't take the one, I don't need the one. But once you start taking the change and saying, I will, it's like the universe saying, there's abundance still. It's the universe reminding you there's abundance. And taking it versus declining it. I don't know. Maybe it changes your life in different ways.
I believe that you need to be grateful and appreciative for what the universe gives you. You know, a tree gives you their fruit, an animal gives his flesh, and it's the universe is providing for you, because you really cannot make anything. You cannot make flesh. You cannot make a carrot. It's there, and you take advantage of it.
We make art, bro.
What?
We make art, bro.
But other than that, you gotta be grateful, and that's why people ought to bless. I'm not saying you should. Ought to bless their food. I do it all the time. It's a matter of habit. It's a matter of tradition. I think it's good, but you don't have to do it if just because I say so. You know, when I used to teach classes, my medical classes, I used to tell my students, I said, well, you're going to be sitting here for about 3 hours with me. And I would lay the rules right away. This is what we're going to do. Nobody's to interrupt me until I would put, for 15 minutes I'm going to talk. Then if you want to ask me a question, then write it down, and I'm going to give you a chance to ask the question, et cetera, et cetera. But I forgot what I was going to say.
Students will have to sit in your lecture for a couple hours, and if they have a question after 15 minutes, they ask it.
There was a point, yeah, they would, but I was going to make a point and I forgot what else. See what happens? I call those mental farts.
Ah, yes. Neural flatulence.
Or mental flatulence. That's euphemism.
Mental gas.
But, I don't remember now. I used to tell my class, you're going to be here sitting for 3 hours, and you're going to hear a lot of things from me. But if you don't want to accept them, you don't have to. Hear him, let the information flow into your mind, and if you say, I don't agree with him and this and that, the other, you have that right. We all have that right. The people who are listening to us, if they are listening to us, they have that right. First of all, they have the right to not listen to us. But if they are, and they don't like, they think we're being silly or stupid or whatever, they have the right to judge us. It doesn't matter. As long as they don't hurt anybody, and as long as we don't hurt anybody.
I agree.
That's why I don't like to say bad words, like
Do they
the
hurt
F
people?
word. I think it hurts people. I think they have a purpose in life, but I think we're using a spear.
You're right. Some words we should say at all.
Why should we use words like that? Use euphemisms. Now, we use them for effect. You know, that's how a joke works. The unexpected. He would say something, and we said something. You were expecting something else, and like I have a joke about the F word. Did I tell you? I told you the story about this people. This bunch of men were working in a construction site, and one of the construction workers fell off the scaffold, and he killed himself. He got killed.
Yeah, that baffles me how they even worked up there in the first place.
So his fellow workers had to go tell the widow, his wife, that he got killed. Did I tell you that?
Mm-mm.
Well, anyway, nobody wanted to go tell his wife that he had gotten killed. And his name was Brown, Mr. Brown, and nobody. And they said to themselves, "We got to tell his wife. There's no way out of it." So finally, one came up and said, if we collect $50, I'll go into town because there's a guy there in town. They call him Smooth Talking Jones. He was a smooth talker. He could tell anything to anybody.
This sounds like a 1930s story.
Smooth Talking Jones.
Hey, Benny, go down to the street and get
So they went to
Jones.
to see Smooth Talking Jones, and they told him that one of the workers had gotten killed, and they wanted him to tell his wife, Mrs. Brown, to tell her husband had gotten killed. Remember, he was a smooth talker.
Right.
So they gave him the money, and they followed him to the house. He stood back a little bit to see what he would say to his wife. And he knocked on the door, and this woman comes, "Yes, may I help you?" He said, "Is you the widow Brown?" And she said, "Yes, I am." No. "Is you the widow Brown?" She said, "No, I'm not." "The you ate." If she was a widow, that means her husband was dead.
Okay. I see it.
"Is you the widow Brown?"
And she said no. Yeah, because she
Yes,
didn't think
you
she was a
are.
widow. Yeah, I get it now.
So that's a joke, see, but I don't.
It's okay. Right on. That you stepped
See,
out.
you were not expecting that, see?
No, I wasn't. No.
That's how a joke works. You're not expecting it, and all of a sudden you hear that's a punchline, the unexpected, and that's what causes a little tingle in your brain. But I always wonder what happens in your brain. What kind of activity is when you hear a joke and it makes you laugh? Because your brain triggers your mouth and to laugh and to express yourself in some way. What is it that your brain does in there?
I don't know. I'll look into it. We'll see if we can get any brain activity of people laughing. That might be interesting.
Or how when you tell somebody a joke and they laugh.
I don't know. Humor has always fascinated me. It really, really has. I wonder if animals find things funny. Sometimes I wonder if like other creatures can find things funny, like a monkey throwing something at another monkey, and then other monkeys laughing.
How would you like to be able to get into the brain of an animal? I have a cat in my house, and I said, I wish I could get into his brain for about a couple of minutes.
I feel like you just get to know him enough to interact with them, and that's good enough for me. I don't really need to know exactly what's going on. I think it's fun imagining. Yeah, cords and cables everywhere. Yeah, who knows? I have a beat to close out our episode. All those videos that we got blank reactions from from you. Let's see. I wonder if it would even play if I... No. Cameron, I think you would have to
Is
cue
that how
it
long
up.
we've been on?
Mm-hmm. We're about to wrap up the episode at 2 hours.
We got to tell people how they can get a hold of us.
Ah, yes. Riches and Rags podcast. You can find us YouTube, delaostudios, TikTok, Riches and Rags, Instagram, delaostudios. That's DELAO Studios, pretty much everywhere. Twitch.tv/delaostudios. We'll be putting links and updating the old videos, hyperlinks, to making sure that they're all good and squeaky clean, squeaky blue. Do we have that track lined up? Yeah. Here, we'll put on your headphones. Yeah, let's get a little more volume on that.
Whoa. Oh. Whoa. Blow, 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 blow. Blow hard, blow hard, blow hard, blow hard. Harder, 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 harder. Blow, 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 blow. Harder, 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 harder. Blow, 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 blow. Blow, 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 blow. Harder, 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 harder. Blow, 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 blow. Blow, 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 blow. Harder, 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 harder. Blow, 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 blow.
Edit.